here with Half Dozen Customs. We're back out here for a little Monte Monday action. If you haven't been here before, this is a 1981 Monte Carlo, and we're basically doing a full restoration. It's yet to become a frame-off restoration, but I do have plans of lifting the body off and rolling the frame out, just so that we can do the top of the frame. We have already done the rest of the frame. You can go back and check out those videos, and then do the floor where it sits over the frame. The rest of the floor has already been done. You can go back and check out those videos as well. So where we kind of left off with this last week was we got the driver's side fender and some sealer. We have not done any body work on it yet. We've gotten probably 95% of the metal work done. I still gotta go back. We gotta fix a couple of spots, and we got some holes to weld up. But I got it in sealer so that it stops rusting. So for just a little change of pace and take a break from that fender over there, we're gonna jump over here to this fender. I don't know how much of a break that is, but we need to get it done. I did recently just do some work on this in a welder video. We got a new welder in the shop. If you're interested in checking out that video, go ahead and check out that video. A company called Safe Asp sent me a welder. That's it right there. It's all digital. It's 220. It does all different kinds of welding, aluminum. I believe it does stainless. It does TIG welding, stick welding, flux core, MIG mag. It does everything. It is 220, so it's a little more powerful than our old welder, which is that guy over there. That's our old trusty welder. That one is 110, and it only does MIG welding, and that one's been a good welder. A little finicky sometimes, but it's a good welder. Usually when I'm running low on gas, it starts acting up. Sometimes it welds really good, sometimes it welds really bad. So happy to have a new welder in house. It's going to take some getting used to with this smart technology. It starts off kind of slow and then it picks up the more you weld, which I'm not sure I'm entirely happy with. Don't know if it's just something I gotta get used to. I don't know if it's something that is in the adjustments. There's a lot of adjustments with this welder. When you make an adjustment, like there's no amp adjustment on this thing. There's only volts, and as you crank up the volts, it turns up the speed automatically for you. So the old welders, like, you set each one individually to your liking. This one, you are stuck with what the machine selects for you. From the research that I've done, like, they say that's awesome, and that's the best thing to have. So it's just gonna take some getting used to, I guess, and we'll see how it does. The sheet metal stuff that I've welded together, I'm really happy with the way that it welds everything together. The thicker stuff, like 1/8 inch steel plate and pipe and stuff like that, I think that's where it's going to take some getting used to, because it starts out with a very fat weld, and then as you start welding, it levels out and gets into a nice smooth weld, which I like the nice smooth weld that it's putting out. But what do you do with that fat weld at the start? Like, how do you get it to stop doing that? How do you get rid of that fat weld? You know, if I'm welding a frame together and, you know, I'm looking to have beautiful welds on it, well, every time you start welding, it's starting out with a not so beautiful weld, and then it gets beautiful as you go. So little weird, and you know, I'm an old school guy that just wants an on-off welder, and you know, these new welders and new technology and the smart system setup that they have nowadays. I just gotta get used to it. So, but let's pick up where we left off in that video. We started with welding up one of the holes from the old emblems. We still got 2 more to weld up, and then we did our cut down here, right here, so we can finish welding that up. And then by that time it'll probably be lunchtime, and maybe this evening we can come out, and we need to cut this section out and make a patch to go in here, and we can get that welded in. So, and then, you know, we'll see where we end up after that for the day. We do have to do some pin pulling along here, so maybe we can get that done as well. But I got the welder over here set up, ready to go. We're gonna put this new guy to work and get the airline hooked up. Okay, and then welding helmet. Okay, let's put this new welder to work. So, like I said, with welding the thick metal, like, it starts off slow and then picks up speed. If I was to just squeeze this trigger, like, this wire would come out really, really slow, and then when it gets to about this long, it'll kick up and start going really fast, which is weird. As soon as it feels an arc at the wire, it's supposed to, you know, kick up its speed right away. So it's kind of, it's part of that smart technology. It's kind of weird that, like, you know, it chooses itself when it's gonna speed up, which I find kind of odd. You can kind of hear it in the weld. Where there's like a pop and then the bacon sizzle. A pop and then the bacon sizzle. And that's it kicking the speed up by itself. Because like I said, it shoots the wire out slow at first, and as soon as it makes an arc, it'll pick up that speed. So you're hearing that pop and then the sizzle, which is really new to me. And then it also has, which is I'm not used to, is like TIG welding has where it does like the shielding at the end of the TIG weld, where it'll continue to release gas for like 5 seconds to help cool your weld and stop any starts with a P, porosity at the end. This does that as well. For like 5 seconds, it'll run the gas at the end. So that's a little new to me as well. But it does do some very nice, I don't know if you call those like rosebud welds, or you just kind of stack around in a circle until the holes filled. But it does do a nice thing. And you know, not that the other welder would have done this, but just to kind of touch on a different subject. So somebody had filled these holes in prior to us filling them in, and they filled them in with just Bondo filler, and they had actually hammered in around these holes. Hammer in around the holes so that you get a good thick amount of filler around there. If you were to just try and fill in the holes and then you go to sand it, not only would the filler be really thin around there, but chances are you're going to sand through to the ring of the circle, and it's just going to crack and fail later. So they hammer it in to get a good thick amount of filler on there so it don't crack and fail. And with heating it up with this welder, this 220 welder puts a lot of heat out. So a lot more than my 110 one does. So as we're welding it, we're heating it, and then we're cooling it with the air gun. And I'm watching the dents that somebody put in there actually come out, which is awesome. The other side, we actually did some heat shrinking on it. Not that we're not going to do heat shrinking on this, but once we get this grinded down, I'll feel it and see how it is. You know, I believe that there's still a dent like around this way that we're going to have to do the heat shrinking for. I don't really recall how we did the other Fender. I don't know if we did the heat shrinking before we welded everything, or did we do the heat shrinking after. I don't really remember, but we're doing it after this time. Okay, so we got all that welded up. Now we'll get it grinded up, and maybe we'll cut this bottom piece out and get it ready for a patch. Only thing with using this welder is at the moment I only have one 220 outlet. I gotta install another one so that I can have the compressor and the welder going at the same time. So we'll get that done here soon. I gotta go get another outlet. But I'm gonna shut you guys down and shut the welder down, and we'll kick the compressor on and let that fill up. So we'll be back. Okay, we're back. Got a little 36 here, and knocked this stuff down a little bit, and then I got my stone grinder, took it down a little bit more, and then we'll finish it off with some 80. And then other than maybe doing some heat shrinking, this should be done here. So I didn't exactly make the straightest cut here. But we are darn close, I would say. Okay, you guys shut off there. You ain't missed nothing. Pretty much after you guys shut off, this piece pretty much fit right in there. And I got some magnets in there. Like right here feels real good, so we'll put a tack in there. You know, right here feels real good, so we'll put a tack in there. Same thing with here. But you know, up here it needs to be pushed in a little bit. This lower corner needs to be pushed out some. You know, it's super close. You know, we'll have some adjusting to do as we weld along. Maybe it does need just a little bit more adjustment. It's close. It's really close, but it's lunchtime, and Colleen's getting ready to. She's got some errands to run, so she's getting ready to leave. So I'm gonna go in and see what her plans are for the rest of the afternoon. If she's gonna grab lunch while she's out, or should I make lunch, or what's going on. So I will be back out here after lunch, and we will get this patch fitting perfectly. I think we're super close. So and yeah, we'll keep going. See you guys back here in a bit. Okay, we're back out here. Oh, I left my gloves over there. I made I basically just ground around the whole thing one more time, and just gave us a little extra wiggle room here. And I think that I can see daylight around everything. I think we're good. I think. Alright, well, we got that thing ticked in. I had to make a slight adjustment there over here on this corner, because you know, as metal heats up it moves, and it tightened up my gap there. And alright, get a blowgun going, get my helmet on. We'll start welding this area up. Okay, I think we got that all welded up. We'll see how this one came out. Everything else that I've welded, like with my old welder, like I used to have like little porosity bubbles always in my welds, where it, leave little pinholes in the welds that I always had to go back and try and weld up again. And what we welded up this morning, I don't see any of that. Like, it is a nice, clean, solid weld, which I'm really impressed by, or really happy by. I've been using an old welder for a long time that I'm just used to it. But it's nice to just grind it down and not have to go back. So, gotta shut down the welder, kick the compressor back on, let that fill up, and we'll be back to grind this down. So we'll be right back. Alright, let's get some grinding done. Filled in a couple of spots too where I could see some light through where we like missed some welds. Not just earlier, but weeks ago. So let's get to grinding, clean some of this up. I noticed as I stepped back and looked at the other side of the fender, and I could see light through a bunch of areas, so. Okay, well, you guys still rolling here? Yep. Alright, so we got that all welded up and grinded down. And I gotta say, I mean, after just our first round of welding, I do see a couple pinholes over here that we need to weld up. I'll do that next time I have the welder fired up. It's one of the things that is kind of a bummer about switching to 220 is that right now, with the compressor running 220 and the welder running 220 and only having one outlet, like we got to bounce between the two. Hopefully pretty soon I'll get that fixed up. The extension cord I have only reaches to here, so like if we're working on the other project over there, I have to use my 110 because the 220 don't reach over there. I actually borrowed this extension cord from my buddy who owns a Jeep. So I need to get him back his extension cord. He said I could use it for as long as I need, but need to get that back to him, and I'm gonna order a 50-foot cord or 60-foot cord. I think it's 60 foot. 50 foot, 60 foot, I don't know. But it should get me to reach over to the other side. And then put another outlet in, and we'll be good to run both compressor and the welder. Now I may have to wait, like not have the welder and the compressor going at the same time. I don't know how all that works. I have plenty of slots in my fuse box to run. I think I can run up to like 4 220s in there, so I don't see why I couldn't. I don't know, but anyways, off topic. This looks way better than the others I did, and I can tell you right now, like usually the inside when I'm done um, looks horrible. And looking on the inside, like we got good penetration. Like I wouldn't say it's full penetration all the way around the thing, but you can see like penetration, and little dots of penetration going all the way around the weld. So we have good penetration to the backside. But it's not all super bumpy. Like when I run my hand back there, like you feel little bumps and whatnot, and I can look back there, and it don't look horrible. Like it left like big boogery welds back there. I always had to do a lot of cleanup on the back side of my welds. Especially like you've seen me hammer on that. Like I couldn't have done that before without cleaning that up first. Because the welds protruding out the back would have been in the way of me putting the dolly back there and hammering. So far I'm kind of digging this welder. But let's move up. So this whole portion of this fender was caved in, if you remember, and they did very poor repairs on here. From like here to here, we need to put pins along this body line and try and pull this body line out. Now it's probably going to make our body line wavy and bumpy all the way across. But I think it'll be better to have little bumpies out at the level that we need them, instead of having this whole fender being filler in this area. We'll just have little bits of filler going around it. Optimal thing would be they have these steel plates that you can weld in along here, and then you pull from your steel plate, and then you cut your steel plate off and you grind it all down and you're good. That would be the best way to pull something like this, because then you're pulling large areas instead of just little pins. But I don't have that here. I've wanted to get on that kit is expensive. It's like $250, and it's a consumable. I mean, it lasts a long time. We had it at another shop that I was at, and I worked there. I worked there like 12 or 13 years, or over a 12 and 13 year period, I should say. And that kit was there a good portion of the time that I was there, and we used it all the time. But eventually you run out of that plate and you have to replace those plates. So, but anyways, let me kind of clean up this little area right here and get an extension cord over here and get the pin pulling kit out and get everything set up, and we'll go ahead and do that. This feels pretty good too. I do think it needs a little bit of work. I think being that we don't have big giant boogery welds out the back, I don't know, maybe we can hammer it from the backside when we have the fender off next time. Dent there, we can pinhole that. Alright, we'll be back. Alright, let's put some pins in here. Now, I want to try and get these pins right on this body line. You can see that this portion of the fender is leaned in this way, and then it's dented here. So I want to put the pins right along this top and pull this back this way. We may end up having to come in here too and fix this dent and pull this out. But we're going to go along this body line first. Okay, I'm gonna put some along the top here, and we're gonna pull ever so slightly there. I don't want a bunch of bumps. Alright, I think that's looking pretty darn good there. I'm gonna get my clippers. We'll clip all this off. We'll grind it up, and we'll see. Like, it looks like it could use some more pulling here. You can see this one just ripped right out on us. But maybe a little bit more pulling here. But I think this all came out really good. So let's get those pins off there. I think it looks good. There's definitely some more areas that I think need to be pulled out, but I don't know if I wanna attempt to pull them. It's like we need to drop down a little lower and go in between each pin and pull again. But the pins that we did pull, like, I can feel like little bumpies everywhere that we pinned that, and I can't really get a good backing. I was trying to get this guy to sit up underneath, but I can hear it when I'm hammering. Like, I'm not making good contact with this because I can't really see where I'm setting this at back here. I don't know if I'm sitting flat up against it when I'm hitting, and I don't want to cave it back in. I think I knocked him down quite a bit, but I think let's see, are you guys still on? Yeah. So I think I'm gonna call it a night there. I think I'll say it again, maybe sometime through the week. I doubt it. But next Monday, there's a couple of spots that I need to weld up on this side. We need to weld up where this pin ripped right here. And I think maybe we'll attempt to pin pull this edge again. We put that patch right in here. And that's where it's actually off, is where that patch is. So I don't know if it's necessarily something that we can pull out, because I you know, if you remember how we made that patch, we just kind of took a piece of metal and we hammered it over a dolly to get this body line in there, and I just think it's, you know, it's the patch itself. So I don't know that we're going to be able to get that out. That just may have to get some filler. It's not bad, but I can definitely feel that it's in right here. But yeah, I don't know. I'm much happier with the way that looks. I think that came out awesome. Just maybe a little bit more work. And then next Monday, maybe we can work on getting you know, there's still a dent here from them hammering this in. Maybe we'll do a little heat shrinking and see if we can get that to pop out. And then I think it's on to sandblasting this guy, which I have one bag of sand left. It took me 2 bags to do the other side, so we may end up having to go get another bag. I don't think this fender is as bad as the other one because somebody had stripped that other fender, where we're the ones that stripped this fender, so there's not as much rust here. But we'll have to see. I guess we can try it, and if I gotta go get more sand, then we gotta go get more sand. You know, you guys seen with the other fender, like it took us a few weeks to get us to the point where we were gonna seal it, and it's still not even ready for seal. We still got repairs that we gotta do over there. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to try and maybe, you know, go through and weld up everything that needs to be welded up before we go ahead and seal this fender, so that way we're not having to go back like we did with the other fender. But we'll see. I think we got quite a bit done today for what we did. Got everything welded up. We got that marker light shaved and gone. We fixed this dent up here. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock, so I think I'm gonna call it a night, and we'll pick up on this again next Monday. Thanks for joining us. Remember to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and go check out our new welder video of us testing that guy out. And if you guys are interested in purchasing that welder, the link will be in the description of that welder video. So, alright, I'm out. See you guys later.